You cannot change somebody else.
How dare you?
How much for his?
Enough!
But you can change yourself if you want to. We always start with you. If you want to develop excellent social skills or people skills, if you like, you have to have self-awareness. People are interesting. Most people are curious about why we do it the way we do it and how people are wired. Maybe the human brain is the most complicated organ on the planet. Men have a higher proclivity for violence than women have. Men are a little bit more task-oriented. Women are a little bit more relation-oriented. It's about when the frontal lobe closes. What that means cognitively is that now you can make decisions and understand the consequences. That happens at the age of 23, 24 when it comes to young men. It happens around 18, 19 when it comes to young women.
I suppose it comes down to the nature v nurture question. So I guess I'm going to point it back at you, is how this kind of mechanism of color, which is obviously just a metaphor for the personality types we're talking about here, how the kind of development of personality types occur. Of course, there's both an element of nature and nurture, but I feel, for example, somebody could start life very introverted and then become very extroverted. And so I guess my question sort of is whether people stay tethered to these personality types and manage to develop a capacity to go across, or if really these fundamental changes can happen and we can really fundamentally change our personality type as a person as we get older, develop and become more mature.
Right. That's an interesting angle, actually. And we have some research that gives you some intel about this. Actually, it's about when the frontal lobe closes. That happens. What that means cognitively is that now you can make decisions and understand the consequences. That happens at the age of 23, 24 when it comes to young men. It happens around 18, 19 when it comes to young women. Why did nature do this to us? I have no idea. You have to blame somebody else for that. But the thing is, that's why it's so expensive for young guys to get an insurance for the motorcycle, because we crashed too much. I did that when I was a young man, actually. But the point is this: when the frontal lobe closes, your personality gets to be more fixed, let's say, which means that you freeze a little bit more. Now it's going to be harder to change who you are. Obviously, you can still develop yourself and you can work on who you are and you can learn more things and you can sort of look into the depths of your own character and all of these things. And you can teach yourself and train yourself in certain directions. But your personality will be more fixed after that age. Will I be the same person when I'm 80 as I was when I was 30? Probably, mostly. But of course, I will also be changed by my experiences, by, horrible events in my life and happy stories that have come along and good people that I got to know and fantastic, experiences and all of that. But personality-wise, I will probably still be, in my case, mostly task-oriented, mostly red and blue, with some yellow in me and no green whatsoever. So that's the answer to the next question, to that question. But what people's personalities can change if they suffer from really tough traumas, let's say. Near-death experiences, if you lose a child, if you burned out, you get so stressed you can't breathe, or you get some rash or something really, really horrible, you can't work for a year or so. That can actually change your personality. It can do that, but that's quite usually stress-related diseases can change you. I have mentored an entrepreneur, just an example, who was super red, running several businesses and building a house and 3 toddlers at the same time, working 20 hours per day and something like that. And he just crashed and burned, and he came out green after they put him in a respiratory medical care because he couldn't breathe normally. His brain just shut down the systems one after another. He woke up blind one morning. He tried to make phone calls and sort of arrange the office without seeing the how to, completely crazy. He turned from red to green, but that's an extreme, I would say. But it could happen. It could actually happen. But in general speaking, you will be sort of the same personality, but you can learn other behaviors along the way. I mean, the personality is what's beneath the surface, and the behaviors is what we can see, what we can observe with our eyes, with our ears. But the personality is there, and sometimes you go against your own personality. If you're an extrovert and you're trying to pay attention, you have to just keep your mouth shut. Well, that's not an extrovert trait, but you know it's smart to be silent now. So you adapt to a certain situation. But if you have to violate who you are for too long, you're going to feel bad about yourself. You're going to be really stressed about that. So I usually recommend people not to violate who they are. Accept your personality and make the best out of it. Accept who you are. Don't try to be somebody else.
If you mentioned this about who you are, I saw that in, I think it was your latest book, Surrounded by Vampires. And I'm curious because I have had the idea in the past, and I've actually debated this with Ollie after so Ollie and I have been friends for 3 years, and there've been situations in our life where we've kind of discussed bad actions and what makes a bad person or a good person. And I remember I once told Ollie that I don't necessarily believe in a deep core or a deep truth, and that a person is nothing except what they do. And I was wondering to what extent you might agree with that, and to what extent you might distinguish between a personality and behavior, or if they're actually just the same thing.
Well, to answer your last question, personality and behaviors are not the same thing. As I said just now, behaviors is what you try to, what you observe, and the personality was you try to figure out while observing the behaviors. I mean, if I give a lecture in front of, I don't know, 2,000 people, regardless of who they are sitting there in the audience, they are doing the same thing. They are hopefully quiet, paying attention to me, follow what I'm doing, what I'm showing on the screen, and they are sort of acting with me. And if we have a Q&A afterwards, the mic is going around from person to person. But they are actually using green behavior. So just me by standing on the stage and waving my arms and trying to look smart, I have changed their behavior into green behavior, which is paying attention and not talking, but listening very, very, very carefully to what has been said. Uh, so I have changed their behavior, but I have not changed their personalities, because in the first break, they will go out and have a beer and chat with everybody else and just be themselves. There is a huge difference between these two things. And I'm not a psychologist, I'm a behaviorist, which is kind of a different thing. So I study behaviors. Is there an inner core? Well, that's more of a philosophical question. Do you have a soul? Who are you? If we sort of connect you to a computer and sort of read your mind, what will we find? Will we see that Lucas, he is just, he's just Lucas. It's just some sort of, very, very, I don't know, superficial, some very, I don't know, not very deep individual. There's nothing beneath it. I don't believe that. I think there is a lot of things within you that you don't know. There's a lot of things within me that I don't know. I've been studying myself for 30 years, 35 years or something, and I still learn things about me. I think it's rooted in my personality. I learn more about my motivators, what makes me going. I think I learn more about why I react negatively to certain behaviors from other people. Why does certain people still make me quite frustrated, actually? When I hear certain phrases said, it really irritates me. And why is that? Where does it come from? I don't know if that's interesting, but I learn more about me the more I study myself. Do I believe that I have a soul within me, something very deep, something fundamental, something almost, I don't know, religious? I'm not a religious man, but I think there is something within us that we can spend our entire life in investigating, looking into. I don't have a I don't have a language for it really, but I think there is so much hidden beneath the surface. You know, there are things that you know about you and that I know about you. There's things that you know about you, but I don't know. There's things that I know about you, but you don't know about you. And there's things that neither you or I know about you. And the fourth and the last thing there is what interests me. What is hidden beneath the surface? What could it be?
Do you want to frolic freely at the beach, hairless both upstairs and downstairs? Tired of being left bloody, stumbling and alone because of a bad razor? Then you know what to do. Get yourself a Manscaped. With the new Beard and Balls bundle, you can stay fresh all over. Use the discount code LOW for 20% off now.
Hey guys, hope you enjoyed that clip from our interview with Thomas Erikson, the author of Surrounded by Idiots. If you'd like to check out the full interview, you can click right here. Please like and subscribe and drop a comment with your thoughts down below to keep supporting the channel. Thanks for watching and see you next time.